Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
I challenge thee.
It's Chris and Aaron here again with another episode. What's going on, buddy? How's it going?
Hey, big guy, doing good, man. Doing good. The weather just turned from being really shitty to only slightly shitty. So we're not doing too bad over here. A lot better than you guys.
Yeah, it's still cold over here. I just went out earlier to have a smoke, and these things got so hard they cut through glass.
Oh man, it's that bad, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cold over here. With the wind chill, it feels like it's 10.
Oh my goodness, man. I don't miss that. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what's going on in Florida? You got some news out there?
Yeah. We also got we got TikTok along for the ride too. I got a live feed going over here for the followers on the TikTok side. So if anybody's got questions for Chris, just ask on the screen. I'll try my best to catch them, and we'll do some questions live here. But as far as Florida news, there was a bunch going on in October. They had a commission meeting, and I guess the vote kind of passed in December. The FWC was going back and forth with like the size poles that you could use in your blue claw traps, because they had a problem with the diamondback turpin. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's a turtle down here getting caught in these traps. So they issued a statement. I'm not too sure if they passed the bill or not, but they issued a statement on the dimension of pole you could use for these blue claw traps. And all the information is on FWC's site. But they also put out a bunch of recreational angling news on dolphins, shrimping, and a bunch of management news. I'll read one here shortly for you guys. It says, recreational anglers in Southwest Florida Keys have expressed concerns about declines in the size and abundance of dolphins in Atlantic waters. The commission moved forward with its proposal that, if approved at a further meeting, would reduce the recreational bag limit from 10 to 5 dolphins and the private recreational vessel limit from 60 to 30 dolphins in the Atlantic state waters. So, to be honest, dude, there's a lot that goes on in that. A lot of feelings, I'm sure, from different captains on, you're taking money out of my wallet, and even recreational guys feeling like if I get lucky, I get one or two. So I'm sure they're gonna hear some some backlash from that one right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to remind some people, when you say dolphin, are you talking about the actual dolphin, or are you talking about mahi-mahi?
Yeah, so mahi-mahi, not the actual dolphin. Even though the actual dolphin is a pain in the butt down here, we're definitely talking about mahi-mahi.
Yeah. Most people know what we're talking about when you say dolphin, but for the newcomers and stuff, people that are not just that familiar, we just want to clarify that for you. But as far as Jersey news goes, I haven't really heard much. The only thing really going on in Jersey right now is the flea markets. It is flea market time, and this weekend coming up, February 12th, one of my fishing clubs, High Marsh Striper Club, we're having our annual flea market, which is a pretty big flea market, one of the best in Jersey. I'm not just saying that as a member. I'm saying that as a fisherman. We got vendors from all over the state and out of state. So come on down to the VFW on Route 36 in Middletown and check us out. It's a $5 entry fee. Kids who are 12 and under are free.
It should be a good show, man. I regret never making that one. I've always made the one in Ocean City. I think is coming up here shortly. And then there was always one I wanted to make it to. It was Striper Day, I think it's called. It's up towards Montauk area. It's a really well-known guide up there throws this tournament every year, and then they have like a huge meetup. It's flea market, the whole nine. More details, of course, in the next episode. I'll find all the information you guys would need, but there is a lot of flea markets going on now that the weather's not the best in New Jersey, so take advantage. Again, small mom and pops out there just trying to make a living, and really quality stuff for a quality price.
And also on the week after, you got the Philly Expo show. That's going to be February 18, 19, and 20. At these shows, usually you get to see some good seminars, some really good people who have a lot of knowledge. For instance, at the High Marsh show, Tony Maggio will be there giving a seminar on striped bass trolling. Joe and Jerry Zagorski about tog fishing. The Philly show, I know my main man, Captain Eric Kerber, will be out there giving a seminar about snakehead fishing. I'm kind of actually excited to see that because it's a fishery that a lot of people are timid to get into because it's an invasive species.
Yeah.
But just it's a lot of fun, man. And if you're definitely going to go to the show, I suggest you check it out. It's a great fish to catch.
Yeah, snakehead has been something that was always fun for us to catch in early spring, midsummer even. We had these spots back, it's right on the Delaware River. It's on the New Jersey side, but it was tidal swamp area. So it was brackish, kind of muddy, nasty. It's barely any salt in there. But when I tell you this snakehead population is so strong back in these tidal rivers, man. Like, I mean, we couldn't catch bass sometime. Trying to catch bass, we couldn't catch them. It was all snakehead. But they're fun, man. I mean, they can get upwards 10, 15 friggin' pounds, I've been told.
And I know exactly where you're talking about because that's where I hooked into my first snakehead, and I didn't catch it. I was using very, very late line, and it popped. But just that fight for those, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds I had him on, it was pretty incredible.
Oh, man, I'm sure. I just got an invite to go live with somebody else here on Facebook, and I hate to say we're going to turn down our guest host today on TikTok, but if you guys are watching, you guys have any questions for Chris or me, please feel free. Shoot them on the screen. I'll try and grab them. And getting back to the tidal waters over in Delaware, man, well, New Jersey and Delaware, there was a time in early spring I would load up on bloodworm, and you would catch these migrating striped bass in there, man. When I tell you these things come in so thick and just be porpoising along the rocks, I couldn't believe it, Chris. One of my buddies that was, living down the street from there, call me every year, same time. Get your bloodworm, get your gear, get up here. And I'm telling you, striped bass was on fire up there. There was a lot of pre-spawn females, and they wouldn't bite anything. It wasn't like you had to worry about catching and releasing these guys, but you definitely had a plentiful catch of anywhere from 20 to 30-pound bass, man, early in the spring too.
There is one migration that happens to the Delaware River that I'm kind of bummed that I never went down there to fish it. But the poor man's tarpon up here in Jersey, the shad run. Like tackle, man, that's some pretty fun stuff to catch. And I'm just disappointed I've never taken the time to take advantage of that fishery. It is in my home state, and that's definitely something I want to do.
Yeah, there's one of the spots you're talking about. I guarantee I know it. There's this river. The little bridge goes over a really good portion of the river, and every year early spring it's filled with friggin' boats, bumper to bumper, dude.
Yeah.
And my buddy, I even went in there. We're bass fishing. He's pre-gaming for a tournament, and he keeps telling me, he's like, every year the shad run through here is so thick, man. Stripers are right up behind them, and guys just anchor up and chunk shad or live shad. And there's a company that reached out to me, actually on TikTok. They manufacture a freaking awesome bait tank. When I tell you this freaking tank is, I'll give you more details in the future. We're kind of working out the kinks now between us, but it filters the water in a way to where it circulates it. It doesn't allow the fish to bump their heads into the walls, or it doesn't have any square corners to damage the fish. Because I know shad and herring, even bunker, they if you put them in a square live well, they bang into the sides, and the mortality rate is up there for your bait. But these guys freaking live line shad in this river, dude, and they do really well with striped bass early spring too.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad I brought that up about a fishery that you want to take advantage of and kind of like something you want to do.
Yeah.
So how about this? For the rest of this episode, we talk about some dream destinations where we want to fish.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I'll let you go first.
All right. So me and Chris have been talking back and forth about this new year coming up. I'm trying to purchase my first home, and I'm very close to completing my captain certification. So I'm trying to keep all of that in mind and also land myself, plant some roots in a destination along the coast to where fishing is plentiful. I mean, the offshore and inshore game is there. The weather's not as harsh. And Chris, first thing that comes to mind is the Virginia waters. So I might be saying that a little southern, but the freaking Virginia waters, North Carolina, South Carolina area, them three would have to be my next go-to. I see guys when the water's so cold up north in your area, the striped bass population migrates down south, and they end up in that Virginia water, and these guys are catching hauls, dude. So sheep's head is plentiful. They still have sea trout there. The redfish is there. And the offshore game, you're not going out as far as you are in New Jersey to hit actual, deeper water and wrecks where, tuna, man. I mean, so I would have to say my first go-to is them three right there. What about yourself?
And no disrespect to the Virginia guys, because I've met Virginia people and they're great people, but they overfish the hell out of their waters.
I think so, huh?
So I mean, from what I hear, it's like trying to catch a striped bass in Virginia. It's kind of hard.
Really?
They're really heavily pressured in Virginia,
right?
Especially in the Chesapeake.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Now,
but I mean, really, like anywhere else, if they know they're there, I can imagine, with the internet and everything that is in today's times compared to back then. I'm sure people, spot burn the hell out of something in a day. I can imagine.
Hell yeah, definitely. Now on my list, I'm not gonna go number one, number two, number three. I'm just gonna go geographically, and I'm just gonna start north.
Yeah.
And a place I've always wanted to fish was, believe it or not, Nova Scotia, Canada, man.
Yeah, man.
The cod fishing up there is just amazing. I have a neighbor who, he's a little bit older now, so he doesn't do it, but he used to go every year and hand line codfish in Nova Scotia, and he would bring 30 to 50 pounds of cod every year, and it's just delicious. I mean, I like fresh cod. I'm not a fan of, I have a Portuguese background, and one of the biggest Portuguese dishes is bacalhau, which is a very, very salted cod.
Yeah.
And I don't eat it. I'm not a fan of it. But I bring some fresh codfish home, which I've been lucky to catch a couple here and there in New Jersey. And some fresh cod, man, I'll eat that up all day like some grubs, man. I love it. But definitely Nova Scotia, Canada, for me, is definitely a place where I would love to go fishing.
Well, I will tell you this, man. If I get the chance this spring, I'm going to try and head up your way. And I always take advantage of, not even as far up as Nova Scotia, man. You can go up to Massachusetts, even Long Island, and fish. There's a couple charter boats that go off, out of Montauk, man, cod fishing is freaking ridiculous out of Montauk, man. I mean, I've seen the
I would love to go cod fishing out of Massachusetts, but I'm not 100% sure with their regulations over there.
Yeah.
And I know that they were on a codfish ban for maybe 6 years. I'm not sure if we're still, because they were heavily fished because of commercial fishing. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that ban is still in play.
Yeah.
But the fact that I've never been to Canada, that's also another thing why I would love to go up there. And, for codfishing, specifically codfish, I would love to go to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, no, I can't blame you. Nova Scotia is definitely on the bucket list. We talked about it in one of the previous episodes, the fish kill that was up there, earlier in the winter months. But I'm telling you, dude, it's got to be, to me, the further north you get, the feeling of untouched waters is more prevalent. Like, when I got up to Montauk for the first time, there's just a feeling that overwhelms you when you drive into Montauk. Like, everybody's there that is there at that time has the same thing in mind. They're targeting this elusive striped bass, or they're doing something fishing related where, it's like you're in a town with a bunch of like-minded people. And then when I got up to Massachusetts the first time, it was like Montauk tenfold, dude. It was like... I'm bumping into these people that are like-minded now. I'm meeting them at the bars or the local restaurants, and everybody's sitting outside their cars talking about their next spots. Like, the feeling is incredible, dude. But to talk about the number one next destination for me, I would have to say Cutty Hunk. I don't know if you're familiar with Cutty Hunk at all.
Cutty Hunk, where is that?
Yeah. So Cutty Hunk, the exact destination, I would have to pull up a map here, and I don't know if I can do that. But I've had a couple angler friends of mine talk about Cutty Hunk. And again, that untouched fishery, that feeling of being disconnected and just being like at one with what you're doing, dude.
Yeah.
Supposedly, Cuddy Hunk's the next step. Supposedly, you're on an island. There's not many ways of transportation. Like, I feel like you can rent something to have out there for the day, but the guys tell stories about staying at a lodge right on the water, waiting for the friggin' bunker to start busting out front, running down the steps of the lodge, hitting the beach, and just having nonstop action of big fish. And it's like one of the surfcasters' kind of must destinations after you've kind of checked off Montauk, checked off the canal. The Cuddy Hunk is the next one. For me.
So I'm really curious to know where the hell this place is. I've never even heard of it.
About to zoom in on this sucker. Give me 1 second.
Is it in the United States? That's interesting. Is it north, south? You keeping me in suspense.
North. It's above Montauk.
Oh, so it's basically my area.
Yep. And I want to say it's like above Massachusetts. It might be. I know people were probably laughing their asses off with me trying to explain this to you.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So definitely Cuddy Hunk would have to be the next one. But while I'm looking for this, man, where's your number 2? If you had to pick a second destination, where would it be?
Well, just staying with the geographical order of it, Massachusetts. Gloucester, Massachusetts is probably the oldest fishing port in the United States. And if you're from the Northeast, I've never been up there, but New England itself, from Maine all the way down to Rhode Island, it's as fishy as it gets. Those people, the lifeline is the fisheries. The commercial fishing is a lifeline for New England. So,
right.
That's for the whiting and the haddock. Along with the giant bluefin tuna. You got all types of stuff up there. You got stripers, you got cod, you got ling, you got monkfish, you got tunas, you got everything up there. I mean, it's just an amazing place. I mean, not to mention the giant summer flounder that are up there.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Tell me about it, dude.
Like to them, a double digit doormat is a normal fish.
Right.
When we catch a doormat in Jersey, we're like, oh my god, it's this big amazing thing. You know what I'm saying? But up there, it's just like, okay. So yeah, definitely Massachusetts is a place for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, while we did a little research there, I had a little technical difficulty, but Cuddy Hunk, Massachusetts, dude. So we're looking at an island that is pretty close to New Bedford. Let me see, Newport. So, it's literally a little sliver of an island out there in the friggin' Atlantic, and it gets a striper run, dude, just like any of the little islands, to be honest with you. And to be completely honest, Chris, last time I was up in Montauk, I went out on the Montauk Lady, I believe it's called. And while we're heading out, I'm looking and I'm seeing all these little, like, what look like deserted islands. All my mind could come up with, dude, is like, I wonder how much I could pay a boat to drop me off there, dude, and pitch a tent and friggin' fish the entire week and pay him to come back and grab me, So Cuddy Hunk reminds me of that kind of feel.
That would be awesome, but I'm willing to bet every dollar I got there's some type of regulation where you can't be on an island.
Yeah,
especially in the tri-state.
Yeah, some kind of seabird or some kind of finch or something migrating, and you can't step on the sand, or I know there's something stopping people, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So, what's the next spot for you?
So, other than Cuddy Hunk, if we're talking more southern, I would have to go down and visit. I think Absecon Dave has had a charter, and I think Guatemala. Costa Rica, Guatemala, somewhere super southern and tropical. He's had a boat down there for as long as I can remember. I think we're going on 10, 20 years even. This man might have had a boat. And he runs a charter. So you can actually set up your charter, all your information on what you want to do down there through his shop, and then fly down to this friggin', amazing destination. And he goes out and they're catching rooster fish, beautiful bull mahi.
You're talking Costa Rica.
Yeah, all the exotics, but
and the marlin fishing out there is just second to none. There's no place in the world for marlin. like Costa Rica.
I'd have to go check it out at least once, man. There's even the tarpon, dude. Like they had this tournament I remember watching when I was younger. Jose from the Spanish Fly. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy.
I have. You put me on him.
Yes, I was right. That's right. So one of the guys I looked up to when I was younger, man, because there wasn't a lot of like Spanish guys, Puerto Rican guys in the game of commercial fishing or commercialized fishing at that time. So it was like looking at a version of what you could possibly be through the screen kind of deal. And he was down there fishing for freaking tarpon. And I'm telling you, Chris, they had to be well over 100 pounds. And they were just schooling this man. I mean, every turn he took with his boat, he kept telling you over through the TV, you don't have to go far. They're freaking right off the beach. They're right here. And my knees are shaking, 10 years old. Like, oh, my God.
Yeah, so I'm going to head south a little bit. And this is actually my number one destination where I want to go fish. And I want to go fish with them Louisiana boys, man. They know what they're doing out there. And, it's so much different from, the East Coast. Like in the Northeast, when you make a tuna run, you got to go 60, 70, 80, 100 miles. These boys, they're probably going 10, 15 at the max.
You talking about fishing the rigs or?
Oh, yeah, the oil rigs, you know what I'm saying? And they're catching big yellowfin tuna out there. They also got the skipjacks and the bonitas and the fall season and stuff like that. But definitely Louisiana for me, it's definitely a place I would love to go fishing. And not to mention, it's Cajun country, man. The food is just amazing.
Yeah, when we talk about Louisiana, man, I got a couple guys that I follow. There's a gentleman from TikTok that actually lives in Louisiana, and he's got his own little bait company down there and does his thing. But this man goes out and he'll make videos of the little backwater creeks, almost the same from here, even New Jersey, but filled, it seems, with friggin' sea trout and redfish. Like, you're actually watching them tail and school and hit the surface, and you're like pre-gaming them sight fishing. And I mean, the friggin' even the flounder down there, it looks like it's so plentiful still with fish to where, you can't really pick a bad spot in Louisiana to go fishing, man. And you got the Gator boys too down there, so that would be.
They another thing they get down there a lot too, which it's not really known for that, but there's a really big swordfish fishery down there in Louisiana.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there is, and they do catch a lot of swordfish out there. And there was a guy I saw on the show, one of the episodes of Hook Shots. I forgot the guy's name, but I think it was something like Peace or something like that. Hippie dude, but a cool ass dude at that. And he got them boys on some pretty big swordfish, and it's pretty interesting to catch, and it's something I would love to catch. But I think that's something I'd probably want to do once, and that's it, because I can't imagine it being fun after 4 or 5 hours fighting the same fish, where it's just freaking back-breaking reeling. You know what I'm saying?
I'd be screaming, "Run it down, Cap! Run it down!"
No, shut up, jackass! Reel it in like a man.
Yeah, with an old Penn senator. Come on.
No, with those boys, you gotta get with the internationals. Them senators ain't holding that.
God's sakes, man, I don't miss them senators, dude. But I was actually listening to another podcast probably a week ago, and there's a couple guys that own a camp. It's like a fish camp in Louisiana. And I mean, I can't even call it a fish camp, because the way it sounded on the podcast, this was like a 5-star hotel, man. They got a huge lodge, a bunch of sleeping areas. You can rent out private cabins, and it's supposedly right on the water. It's guide ran. So if you're looking to fish or hunt, you can basically guide right out of your reserved right onto the water. So we're gonna have to look into this, Chris, and maybe make a trip, man.
Oh, hell yeah! I'm down. I'm always down for a road trip, no matter where it is.
Yeah, so Louisiana, check that off.
Yeah, definitely. And what about you? What's your next one?
So I went north pretty far. I went south pretty damn far. So let's go. I would have to say, if I banged out all 3 of them, or even 2 of them, I would have to do some kind of Colorado high country, fly rod for some brooks, or some brown trout, rainbow, something like that. I'd have to go back to my childhood and pick one of these destinations that, is so remote. You got to fly in with a float plane, and you're out there for as long as they drop you for, and you're battling the friggin' grizzlies as long as you're not on top of them, and that would be my spot. I'd have to go, somewhere in the center of the friggin' United States and try for some awesome trout on fly.
That's interesting, man. I didn't see that coming.
No.
I know my top destinations don't include freshwater, even though freshwater is something that I do want to get into this year, especially with I've been watching and paying attention a lot to a company called Guggen Squad and Guggen Baits.
I'm sure a lot. Yeah.
And I know these guys are like the kings of YouTube fishing and stuff like that, and definitely they got some great stuff out there that made me say, yo, you know what? I want to catch a damn bass.
Right.
And but yeah, I really didn't see that coming. I didn't think that a freshwater place was going to be on this list.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I grew up in a time where my grandfather had a cabin in a little spot called Potter County, Pennsylvania, and it was in the middle of freaking nowhere, dude. Kind of on the New York border, upstate New York border, and dead smack in the middle of mountains and reserve land, dude. So it was all protected. It's kind of a place where if you had a cabin, good for you. If you didn't, you can't buy one or build one, And there was creeks that ran below the cabin, and me and my cousins, man, would go dig some mealworms or some little trout worms up and run down the friggin' bank and just do trout fishing all day, dude. And I remember it like yesterday, dude. I always wanted to catch a palomino trout. You know what they are? Like the golden.
Yeah, I do.
Trout.
The beautiful fish.
You'd see them. You'd see them from the bridges and you'd see them from the edges of the banks, but you could never get one to bite. And one of the last times I skipped out on going up there for opening day trout season, my cousin Anthony sends me a picture of a palomino, and I broke my heart, man.
I saw a palomino trout a couple weeks ago, real up close and personal.
Really?
Yeah, in Tacabellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the closest I ever got to one.
Oh man.
But yeah, to keep this flowing, man, I'm sticking with inside the United States, and I know I'm not sure if you know this, but you're a big speckled trout fisherman, and Texas is a place for some hogs, man.
Oh yeah.
And Texas got some hogs, speckled trout in there.
Oh yeah. Like if we had to stay grounded and we really couldn't, fly out or drive that far, definitely taking the coast straight up and hitting Texas, man. Texas is some low, skinny water and filled with gator trout, man, for sure.
Oh, definitely. And California is right there with me too. The lingcod. There's a guy that I follow on YouTube. His name is Fisherman's Life. Mm-hmm. I believe his name is Matt. And this guy, he's got some great videos, man. If you haven't checked him out, please check him out. You won't be disappointed. The lingcod that he catches out there is just amazing, and definitely made me want to go California and do some fishing. And he also sells tackle. He's got he's got a website, fishermanslife.net. I'm not getting paid to say this. I like to support good people. And he sells these jigs. That's called the Jiggy Jig. It's basically an epoxy jig, and I bought it out there to Florida, and I used them. Tell you something, dude, they work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're made out of good quality metal. The hooks are stainless steel, hand forged hooks. They're great. And but California, Texas, those places out in the West, those are two places I'd love to go.
Yeah, California, man. There's a guy, again, a couple guys I follow. I was out there. I moved out to California when I was 18, but I was all the way up in the mountains in northern Scotia is what the place is called, right outside of Humboldt County, dude. So there really wasn't a lot of fishing to be done other than trout fishing, salmon, stuff like that. But yeah, California, man. There's a guy I follow that does nothing but offshore fishing, and the offshore fishing for this guy in California is 5 to 10 miles. Like, he follows these friggin' tuna schools, and he's been doing it 20 some years. And this guy's like, look, if they're not here at this time, we got to go 2-3 miles up this way, and the school's doing its friggin' roundabout, and it's coming back down. So he's got it dialed in so good. And I mean, this man's catching monster friggin' tuna, dude. But there's also striped bass in California, Chris. I don't know.
Oh, yes, there is. Yes, there is. I know they don't get them as big as we do, but there is stripers in Cali.
You could hold up a Cali striped bass. That would be a cool bucket list, fish to check off.
For me, which is a bucket list fish, which here on the East Coast and in New Jersey, you are not allowed to target it, is the Atlantic sturgeon. To me, that is a bucket list fish. That is something I would love to catch. But, of course, I follow the regulations, so I'm not going to target that fish. If I ever get lucky enough to hook one, it just happened. But the white sturgeon fishery in California is 100% legal. And there is a phenomenal angler out there. She is a captain, co-captain of a boat called Gatecrasher Charters. Her name is Virginia Salvatore. And her whole entire fishery basically is white sturgeon.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that's something that I definitely want to go out there and catch. Definitely. And if you wanna check them out, you guys could look her up on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is Unforgettable Virginia. And cool stuff out there, man. Let me tell you something. That's really, really cool fishery. It's basically dinosaurs. I
know Florida. Yeah, you spoke of dinosaurs, exactly, and that's my feeling when it comes to them, man. I know Florida has sturgeon, but to be honest with you, I see them on beware if you catch this fish, you must release it, not harm it, the whole 9 yards. And to see one caught, I haven't seen one caught in quite some time. I've only been here for about 5 years now, and I've seen one caught when I first moved here. Some guy was chunking mullet right in the Indian River, and he actually had one come up on film in 2 feet of water. So he filmed this thing. Dude, it looked like it was 5-6 foot friggin' long, like a monster dinosaur just surfing the friggin' shallows. But as far as seeing them caught, I don't think they're caught that much, but there's some monsters lurking around the Indian River, man, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool as hell, man. I wish I knew that.
Oh yeah.
And do you know if there's a regulation for them out there, or is that a protected species out there in Florida?
I want to say I'm sure there's something, because every bulletin board you read at every boat ramp down here has the little fish board that you can go and what you can catch and what this and what that. And sturgeon is big at the bottom, saying if you catch this fish, don't harm this fish, quick release, don't take it out of the water, the whole 9 yards. So
yeah,
before you guys listen to this podcast and go out and try and, dead stick one of these sturgeon, make sure you look up the regulation, because I'm sure there's something protecting that fish here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I know where to go catch Atlantic sturgeon.
Right.
Just go right next to the beautiful Lady Liberty in the Hudson River, and you freaking troll around some tubes or some umbrella rigs, and you will catch a sturgeon. But I won't do that because, again, I follow regulations.
Yeah.
But if it just so happened to bite my hook while I'm striper fishing, I mean, I will not just cut the hook. I mean, cut the line. I'm gonna reel it in.
Yeah.
And if I got to, I'm jumping in the water and I'm taking a picture with that fish, because that is probably my top 3 bucket list fish. The sturgeon's in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine. Resorting back, to bucket list fish, mine would have to be a striped bass. Over 50, right?
You don't have a striper over 50 yet?
I have one. I have 2 under my belt. One that's close to 50. One that was 51. So I want that 55, 60 world record friggin' pig, like every striper man, fisherman does. And I would prefer to have it on surf gear, you know what I'm saying? Not dead sticking bunker, not friggin' trolling spoons. I
got it.
Tricked it into biting my bait kind of deal. So one over 50, and then it would have to be a flounder over 20. Again, I don't have one even over 10, but I would love that world record friggin' flounder or state record flounder.
That's like a unicorn, bro.
Yes, I know, man. A lot here, but you know what I'm saying? If you're talking about bucket list, I'm checking it off at the highest, and it would have to be a sheep's head over 10. I know they're out there. I've caught them up to 6, 7, but a sheep's head over 10, And then, I mean, really at that point, it would have to trickle back down to a trout, a weak fish, not even speckled, but a weak fish over 10. You know, I've had them 7, I've had them close to 8, but over 10, and then I'm good. I can check out and teach from that point on. You know, you just come ask questions. I got you.
I do have one year bucket list, checked off. My personal best striper is 57.6 pounds off the surf, live lining an eel, and that was it's pretty fun. I mean, at first when I hooked it, I didn't believe it was a striped bass.
Right.
It gave me about 120-yard run.
Oh, man.
Because I know pretty much how much line is out because I had my line marked on the reel, and 120-yard run, and then it was just constant power pushing down.
Right
now, striped bass we all know is not a fighting fish. It's a power fish. Once you get that initial run, it's done. You know, you're reeling in dead weight. When I bring it back in, I got maybe 30 yards left. Second run happens. Now I'm like, there's no way in hell this is a striped bass. I'm starting to think I got a cow nose ray. You know, but I get it within sight distance, and the lights that were on the bridge, I see this giant silver, glow. And I'm like, holy crap. Of course, we don't have a net. We're on the beach. So I go for a swim. I put my hand through the gill, I grab it, I bring it onto shore, and I'm just looking like, this is insane. There's no, I mean, this fish's head was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it was the size of a watermelon.
Right.
You know, at first I couldn't lift it because my arms were worked. But I kept it in the water, trying to keep it, alive and everything like that. I finally got some Polaroids with it, yada, yada, yada. And I'm trying to revive this fish to let it go because I know it's full of eggs.
Right.
And unfortunately, she was spent. She didn't make it. And I said, the hell with it, man. We're going to take it home. We're not going to waste it. We did eat it. But that's my PB striper right there.
Yeah, I don't want to bore all you guys on TikTok with the friggin' story, but I will shorten the hell out of this. You ready? So, Montauk, it was October of maybe, I don't know, 3 years ago. No, it had to be longer than that now. God's sakes. So, going 6 years ago. Too freaking long, dude. 6 years ago, live eel underneath the lighthouse. I think it was slack tide, which it's not even really a thing there. And I was sticking eels, man. I was casting eels. I had a bunch of eels in a pouch. It was our second or third trip out there, and the school of bass that was hanging around, and it only lasted for about an hour, were all quality fish, 20 to 30, somewhere close to 40. And then, probably about an hour after they were there, they weren't. And I was getting ready to give up, and that's when she hit, man. And it scared the life out of me because all the gas, like you said, was pulled from your body. I caught a couple of these really nice quality fish. I was done. My buddy was done. We had the best night in Montauk in a long time. Since every time we went there, that was the best. And then she hits, and it friggin' took everything out of me. I was shaking by the time I got her up. And I got a couple pictures. She's on Facebook. She didn't make it. Back then, it wasn't as, popular as a thing to, really try to, revive a lot of these fish. And you had a limit on what you could keep. And it wasn't the same as today. So if it was the same as today, she would have never been kept. I would have probably pushed and pushed and pushed to revive her. But she was spent. She was bleeding. She was at that point. Nothing was caught in the corner. There was no circle hook action. So she was hurting. And, to be honest, I think we got to go back further than 6 years then, man. So,
yeah. I mean, I don't even have the picture of that fish on Facebook. I didn't even have a camera phone at the time, to be honest with you. I had the old Nextel,
Right, yeah.
and I got the disposable camera photos, and it's at night, and the picture is really crappy, but you can see the fish. It's in the photo
Yeah.
album. But yeah, I noticed that we got completely off topic from dream destinations to freaking personal best. But
Talk about striped bass and it's a wrap. It goes, you know.
yeah, but another bucket list fish for me. It's not in the top five, but it's definitely it's up there. It's halibut, and I would love to go to Alaska to catch one of those. That'd be
Sure.
awesome. Alaska in the summertime is actually, from what I hear, obviously I've never been there, but from what I hear, Alaska in the summertime is probably one of the most beautiful places on the earth, from what people tell me.
Yes, and it really depends. There's a large part of my family that's been up there every year now for I don't know, going on 10 years, and they keep going up in the spring, in the summer months, just to fish. They go on little charter boats out in the waters there, and they catch salmon, and they do the whole vacation thing in Alaska. And they tell me weather's good, the scenery's beautiful, but the freaking mosquitoes are like a black cloud, dude. So again, you can deal with bugs and you don't have a problem with it. I think I could push through it knowing that we're going to catch a halibut or something nice, but they come back welted up, man. They say mosquitoes are no joke in friggin' Alaska in the spring. Yeah.
Well, what's cool about that is I got a very good friend that runs a company called Nor'easter Wear, and it's these long sleeve UPF 50 shirts. I'm probably said that wrong, but whatever. And you don't have to worry about being hot, and you're still protecting your arms and everything else from getting whacked with mosquitoes. So, definitely look into something like that.
Well, I will tell you this, Chris. There's a follower here on TikTok saying that they can't hear you, but they can hear me. So I will tell you guys, the next time we do this, I'll try to mic up or put the phone a little closer so you guys can hear Chris and actually communicate a little better with Chris. But I do apologize if you guys can't hear them. You could always check in. I mean, on our Facebook page, Instagram page, there's stuff on TikTok that'll link you guys right back to either of them pages. And again, the podcast is live every week. There's a bunch of different episodes to filter through. So if you guys can't hear him that well, I do apologize. But this live filming of this episode will be following week. So you guys don't have any worries. You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And bringing up that, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you stay up to date with every episode. If you like what you're hearing, please give a thumbs up, leave a comment, and let us know what you think. Give us some ideas. And I hope you continue to enjoy.
Damn straight.
Now,
looking forward to these episodes, man. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. So, I can't put no spoiler alerts out there, but I got a couple decent fishermen lined up to come in to do, sit down with us and talk fishing in their areas and, new products that are coming out. So, if you guys are following along, it's only going to get better. I pray that you're thinking it's getting better, and it's not, you're not thinking the other way, but,
I'm just gonna be honest. We're still rookies at this. We're getting used to this, and we're getting in the swing of things. The good thing about us is, fortunately, that we wanted to do this. We know a lot of people in the industry, and some of the best captains I know, and I'm lucky and fortunate enough to call them a friend. And they've been on here in the past and maybe in the future again. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to with this podcast.
That's for sure, guys. That's for sure. And again, don't forget the social media pages, guys. Every bit of like and follow is graciously appreciated. And even shoot some comments on, possibly, topics for next podcast, or, topic line for this, or you want to see this guy on here. We'll try our best. We will. That's for sure.
Absolutely, man. So, since we're running down to the last bits of this episode, I'm just going to give you my last fishing destination. And this will probably be the last place I visit, because if I go there, I'm like 90% sure I'm going to get killed by something, because
Camden, New Jersey.
No, not Camden, New Jersey. I'm talking about Australia, man.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful country, man, but they have things out there that just everything wants to kill you, from mosquitoes to crocodiles to sharks to everything.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Australia is probably every outdoors person's dream destination to go to, not only for fishing, but just for everything outdoors in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing place.
Yeah, I would like to try and find the time of the year there where it's not the hottest, because it seems like the friggin' Serengeti, and I've watched tons of videos where black flies are flying in front of dudes' eyes, and they're like, I want no parts of that, Chris. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But there are some things out there I want to catch. The GTs, the golden trevallies, the barramundis.
Oh yeah.
Definitely something I love to catch. And I think for me it's worth the risk.
Yeah, I would have to say Africa before Australia. I would definitely take Africa. And again, another deadly ass place. Not only worry about spiders and snakes and crocodiles, but even the inhabitants of Africa coming after you. You know what I'm saying? So, it's definitely a spot that has a lot of bucket list fish for me, though.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to go to Cape Verde out in Africa. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that, man.
Well, let's try and make this happen, buddy, because we got some trips we got to plan.
There is one thing. I'm going to start up the new hashtag because it just boggles me how you've been in Florida for 5 years and you still haven't visited the fishing mecca of the world, which is the Florida Keys, man. I'm going to start a hashtag that says, take Aaron to the Keys.
That's exactly where we should start. And then a GoFundMe underneath of that for the fuel.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Man, dog. Yeah, that's something that we got to look into in the future, man. And if you guys listen to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, leave a comment, review. Let us know what you think. YouTube, once again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a thumbs up. He's Chris, I'm Aaron, and we're out. Tight lines, guys.
I challenge